Millions. What's going on? It is Tristan Kennedy, under the culture, Reebok repping for some bunch of stuff, bunch of cool stuff. I figured, why not today? We have not gone live in quite some time. It has been, I did a small little brief live from like, I want to say last week, but we haven't done as many lives as we typically normally do. That's honestly just been, I have not been feeling the best. I, thankfully, good health, but not feeling the best creatively. The sobriety journey has not been easy. And I think a lot of that has just been things that I can't control right now. I wish I could be making more money than what I presently am, but you got to leave it in God's hands. You got to again control the controllables, and right now, that's what I'm doing. So I figured today, outside of we're going to talk about what ultimately is going to be what the topic of conversation is. For me, it's always been something that I've thought about over 10 years. Is is Reebok Classic still popular in 2026? Or is it still popular as a brand overall, as a lifestyle brand, as a sneaker, as an anything? I'm sure as you guys see, I have a multitude of Reeboks around me. I have for, as I mentioned, over 10 years. So it's been a super big blessing to be able to kind of go and grow with them at the same time. And yeah, I want to get more insightful topics of conversation. Aside from that, I want to actually give you guys an update of what I have been doing aside from not going live and catching up with you guys on a regular basis. So I would say for the last almost 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, I have been working extensively on my cinematography slash videography. If you guys have actually seen some of the YouTube videos and shorts, more so the videos that have now been being posted, I've been using a Sony A7 Mark III, a Sony G Master that's a 70 to 200 2.8 Mark One, and yeah, that's been really helping get a lot of the documentarian style of footage that I am very interested in photojournalism. Aside from that, I've been able to go to things like the Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association. I got a media tag for that. I was at, of course, the mini games. There was, yeah, the last one was the North Pole Hoops National Championships week and the All Star weekend. I didn't go to the All Star game, but I was able to take lots of pictures throughout. That was a super great experience, and it's just been fun. I recently did some work with the Etobicoke Eagles tackle football club, and just been trying to get out there. I recently did the J-Ron runs and a lot of Christy Pitt stuff. So it's been fun just to get out, meet people, socialize, and not just isolate. Even when you're not feeling like, if I'm not drinking, that's good. That's the main thing. But I notice we still isolate ourselves when we're not either the most comfortable or feel the most seen or the most recognized for whatever it is that we're trying to go through or grow into. So with that, I also reached out to the company, not company, but it's like the network, Big Brother, Big Sister. I worked with them a few times when they came to City Hall. I am working for the city of Toronto, and like their events and installations, I was very happy and fortunate that I was working them because like it just seemed like it was all vibes and everyone was having a good time. So come to do a little bit more of my research. They have an event coming up. They have a bunch of events coming up within the part of more activations that have anything to do with sport, positive mental health, uh, bringing conversations of substance abuse in whatever form or fashion. Uh, People still have this connotation where if you're not fully sober, that doesn't mean you're sober at all. Uh, I don't want anyone to give that bad portrayal or rap because it's at the end of the day positive motivation that everyone needs. I think everyone deserves in some form or fashion. So if you can do that positive for not just yourself, but uh, one person, the second person, a multiple people in a room, that's like a blessing. I'm trying to steer my life towards that on a daily and active basis. If I can get paid for it, that would be the blessing in disguise that I'm telling you. Leaving it into God's hands. Leaving it into God's hands. But yeah, let's talk like what we came here. Like I had also before I was taking notes on some of the things that I think and I'm really going into this like photojournalistic everything. Like, is I want to be the basically the black freaking Tobey Maguire back in his day, yo, in the original Spider-Man franchise movies. But just seeing this guy with the glasses on, with the camera, just trying to do his thing, like go around the city and little moped and shit, and just really trying to like not just take great pictures, but like tell stories. I think that's the important thing for me. So I've been asking a lot of questions from different perspectives. And then I stopped before we jumped onto this live on kind of doing the background analysis between some of the content creators that Big Brother Big Sisters has reached out to for this event. From the first three, the five that names that they gave me were tremendous. And by tremendous, I mean like they're a part of basketball, the community basketball community. They are hoopers themselves, and or they just actually are doing something presently that's great for the community. So, without all of that now pushed to the side, let's get to now what I feel is an important question for me, perspective wise. And you guys are more than willing to jump up in the comments to let me know what you guys think and feel. I am very curious, and I've been curious of this for a long time, even though I have, again, my own biased opinions. I'm not getting paid by Reebok or anybody to tell me to say this or not. And I feel like I have a lot of hot takes in certain regards, but is Reebok Classic, the brand, popular within 2026 overall? I have it's one of the shorts that literally is like the most views that I have on my channel, and I don't know why it continues to get views. I'm thankful, knock on wood. Continue to view and take in any content that you guys find and connect with or it resonates with you. But my green pair of classic nylons that I got last summer, those I think it's at like 4.1K views or something like that, which is like super dope. I have worn the shoes pretty mismatched a lot of times uh, when I am sporting them, but I started asking myself because I typically am very humble. I get people that actually are not shy. They walk up to me and they tell me that they may like the shoes that I'm wearing. So this is the classic nylon, and uh, I call it forest green. It just literally says on the box green, green, but we can clearly see that this is like a really nice forest green. So I started asking myself, is this brand actually popular more than what I or they think, or are they not actually this popular? Like, are what is lacking behind either their branding, their marketing, their overall out of the box appeal and feel? I started really pondering this, and I'm always pondering anything Reebok related because, of course, I have over 100 pairs of classics, some of which I've acquired through working with them, working for them, being connected with either raffles and or other sneaker boutiques that do collaborations with Reebok over the years. And I'm just like overall a fan of fashion and culture, I guess. I grew up a very, I want to say, very broke lifestyle, to be honest. And to be now at a place where, yeah, I could have people come up to me saying either they think my shoes are cool or whatever type of outfit that's going with it, the apparel. Super, super humble. So I wanted to do an unboxing video and it was centered around this original color. I haven't even worn them yet because of this. I have two pairs that I still have not worn of these shoes. Yeah. So I had all the questions in my head of, are these something that are popular in 2026? Because if not, yo, what's going on? Shushat Shuba. Blessings, blessings. But yeah, I started asking myself, are these still popular as runners within Toronto, within Canada, within the world, to be honest? Because I see a lot of I see a lot of different Reebok classic stuff come out from different parts of the world. And yes, I do, or we do live in Toronto, Canada. Shout out Toronto, Canada. But because if anybody who's a sneaker or affluent Reebok collector, they know that it's been almost 10 years now since Reebok is eh, 2016 to 2018 is when they closed, started really closing. But they've closed all of the facilities, the stores, the outlets, all within Canada. So anything that you do want to get, you have to get online. And if you're not getting it from Reebok.ca, which I've gotten a few things over the years, yes, but predominantly everything I get is from my other plugs, sources, and or means. And a lot of that is because I like style, I like appeal, I like the out of box feel that makes something not just simply a general release product, but like even these Harry Potter joints, like I didn't originally friggin' love these because price wise they were just not for me, but when you ended up getting them, and they came in a really, really thick box, had some nice branding, overall really good aesthetic and feel, like, and the price that I did get them for, which I believe was $44 or under that. Yeah, that makes it reasonable. But for me now, it's like, is having it at a really fair price point to make it something that's quote unquote luxury or reasonable. I worked for a few years at the luxury nautical lifestyle and paddleboard company called Boat Lake. Shout out Boat Lake. In which early on they were still not fully invested into the inflatable paddle boards, but they were still going full steam on the hard boards. And like these are boards that are anywhere from 14 feet, 15 feet long plus, and like they're sculpted, handcrafted. So these are works of not just art, but anywhere from the price point of 1,500 upwards to 5,000 plus. And it was difficult early on to try to sell these to not just simply people who could afford these, but opening it up to people that could afford the price points and buy into the luxury aesthetic. So, like, I was a person who I love the water, I love all things like adrenaline inducing. So, I really in my own way, I tried to push for the eye subs to be something that they really push to motivate and market behind. And I think the classics, even though at the time when I really started getting into the Reebok repping and like reaching out to Soul Exchange and other sneaker conventions to kind of get my name and notoriety out there for my collection, it was still Reebok was really only pushing CrossFit as a whole and like classics, basketball, everything was like secondary, tertiary, and under that. And I don't know if that's really what was going to be the thing that was going to keep them afloat. Clearly, we can see over the course of the last 10 years. And even now. So now they have been coming out with more basketball silhouettes. Think Angel Reese, shout out Angel Reese. Even Shaq's been doing his part. But I have now, even though Shaq is the president, I do see a lot of like Shaq brand stuff coming out almost quicker succession than I do see the Reebok stuff. And he's supposed to be the president of not just his own company, but Reebok right now. So I think that there's in a little bit of no man's land of like they don't know who they want to have as being their representation, and it kind of like is a trickle down effect where like some of the like grassroots and like street level or like community level ambassadors, someone like myself or Faraz, friggin' shout out Laced Heat. These are guys who I think know more about like the overall daily sneaker culture and him specifically, not just because he's a big time Reebok guy, but he's overall very known in sneaker communities because he wears other brands. And that's something that, of course, like I've always been interested. I have many, well, not many, but I have a few brands that are not Reebok related. And then it's just for me always like, am I actually wearing these things, or is it just something like to just rep for hype? So I don't really know if Reebok right now is popular in 2026. I would say maybe in other places in the world, somewhere like the States. You guys gotta let me know in the comments. Like, do you feel where based off where you live, is Reebok popular in 2026, or is it not? Like, would you more so want to wear Puma? Would you want to wear Asics or New Balance? Like, shout out Steven Smith because again, man's creator of the original Instapump. I actually was getting even a lot of hype when I did pull these out to the park the other day. The Babe Instapumps, the mismatched joints, but it was super dope to yeah even have some people like, oh yo, I've never seen those before. What are these? And they've either never seen Babe or they've never seen an Instapump or they've never connected them both and knew that it was Reebok or something like that. So I feel like I get a lot of like nice comments and like people make me feel like Reebok is still, I don't want to say it's not more popular or less popular than another brand. I won't go there, but I will say that there is still some sort of popularity behind the vintage nostalgic. And like I'm a millennial. I was born 91. I feel like the generation X, Y, Z, and beyond that was born after myself, they're all trying to now find their own quote unquote niche vintage aesthetic. And a lot of times you can literally go probably, I don't even know if Urban Outfitters is still a store that's selling, but well, I took them out of the box, that's why. But I had my club C's, the same kind of ones that look like Stan Smiths. Thankfully, the barking dog on this floor, I heard it marked earlier, but not barking right now. I would. Yeah, these typically a lot of people have a good amount of pairs of these. I've had these now for I don't even know when the box says. Maybe 3 years. Um, I do see. I just see a lot of these. So you have a pair. Shout you out. Uh, huh, 2022. So 4 years. That's also another thing. My collection. I keep all the receipts, and I have like all the original boxes and everything. So that is something I feel that adds a little bit of value. You are someone who's planning to resell your shoes. Try to keep them as original as possible. I also was thinking the other day to pull these out again. The last time that I wore these was when I was taking pictures at the EBYL All-Star game. But yeah, these A-Life Court Victories. I'm like, yeah, you have so many shoes that I feel like on a one-off, wearing them just out and about. If I just simply told people, yeah, that's Reebok, of course, they'd be like, yo, that's super dope. But this is not something that was from today or even yesteryear. And that's when you kind of start to lose people in conversation. Even all now, like this box, it was a collab, but like the paper actually has the original Reebok branding on it that has the flags. And like, albeit this paper is starting to brown, but like these are really nice aesthetics that I feel if you're taking them away and you're not replacing them with anything equal or greater, then and you're still calling it a Reebok, or you're calling it what it is, or classic, whatever you want to call it. You're kind of trying to pull wool over people's eyes. It was also very interesting working at Vaughan Mills. That's the location that I was working at before it closed. I would come in wearing something that is not in the store. People come, they want to buy something. Like, this shoe will be on the shelves, no problem. But like, I'll have, I don't know, this is not that shoe, but this is the ERS Engine A. Shout out N1 and shout out Hot Sauce, because he was literally seeing a picture and was asking about these. But yeah, if I come in with like these, but yet there's only these available, people are immediately like, "Where the hell do you get your shoes?" And yes, it opens up conversations where I tell people, "Yo, you keep messing with me, I'll have you farting through silk, dog." In terms of sneakers and other shit. But yeah, I feel like I know some guys that. Okay, so outside of myself, who I'm I'm gonna be respectful by saying entry level when it comes to like Reebok classic, brand ambassadoring, classic. I've just been doing it for a long time now in my right, as a Canadian, like self-proclaimed, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Faraz, like Laced Heat, check him out on Instagram. He's another dude who, like, at the very least, when I was like trying to get into it back first, when I was like starting the collection, like I used to watch like his videos, his content, and literally send him messages, reaching out to him, asking questions, trying to pick his mind on like what he thought of, like what's the best way to how to approach these people, because like I genuinely want to work with people, and I want to have conversations to see where their minds turn to, like how we see this finished product, or how you see something online, or uh to make these type of events where like you're getting invited and it's like, "Hey homie, life is going way too fast, here's a gift to slow things down. On the hook, off the hook, we think of you and appreciate you, Gary and Angelo." But like, I appreciated and still do very much these type of like, yeah, little bits of swag and memorabilia. Still goes, I feel, with my kind of collection aesthetic and vibe. Um, since I started collecting, this has always kind of been something that was going to look aesthetically the way it does. And yeah, you could only hope that you have and you grow a family into kind of sneaker culture and building, because you definitely would hate to have it if your partner was like, "Oh no, I don't like sneakers," right? So yeah, I have those pairs to do as like, I didn't even just want to do it as like an unboxing video, because if you guys have seen the lives from the last, well, this was like last August, September, August time, I can't remember, but like when I got the 5 pairs of these, or three to add to the other two, I was gonna do a separate like short at the time on my phone with just one each. But now that I have the Sony and I literally can just make 4K videos all the time, I could just shoot each one of these again. But I think conversationally is like the same things of what I would talk and say on this live. Is just, do I find this shoe popular? Yes. Would I wear this just to go and go for a walk? Absolutely. Would I wear this? Do I wear these? Or do I find myself wearing these when I go to play basketball or just shoot around? 100%. Are these comfortable enough to wear 8 hours while you're shooting photography or doing photojournalism or action photography? For me, absolutely. And a lot of times, even though they're loose laced, I still prefer jumping in and out because it's still breathability, material, and overall like step feel for me. Um, like the Reebok Classic, and I'm sure, yeah, I could go into like a bunch of like different uh on feet or on foot feel tests to like give you different assessments and analysis on different sneakers or their cushioning. But the reason why I continue to wear Reebok is because, not, it's like price aside, the comfortability is there, the support is there, and like I know I'm not the biggest person, I'm not the tallest or heaviest person, but being like 6'3", 160 pounds, like they work well for me. Even I want to do more stuff with this shoe, and I wish I had more models. Oh, shit, not that one. I wish I just had more models of them from when they originally first came out because, yeah, the shoe is a banger. I don't even have the second model, but the first model float zigs to me are like top notch. This all white pair I wore when I did go to do the North Pole hoops basketball, and like these, I'm telling you, I would literally take a marker, do all of my funky like hand drawn stuff with it. I'm debating doing that. I'm debating doing too many things. Like, but to do all of this with the paint markers that you guys can see I can do. This is of course a Nike LeBron Zoom Soldier 1, but get super articulate with like the details. And I just don't know, like, should I make this Galaxy? Should I make this like a Michael Myers joint? I could like literally find a place to do some form of Michael Myers joint. Something. I don't know. But overall, just seeing the triple white, I feel a lot of people when they did see it on the basketball court, and I was wearing like an all black joint and then just to have the crispy whites, it went. I, I I didn't have that many people coming up and saying anything, but that's okay because I still felt good in them. And comfort wise, I'm telling you, like freaking uh, the float fuel that they got going on in this joint, and the actual like cushion foam, it's top notch. So could I talk into length about why I think Reebok Classic is popular in 2026? Yes, of course. And typically why I still kind of do my thing always revolving around them. Even now with the cinematography, like if there's not a specific shot of me in frame, I will most certainly try to keep sneakers or sneaker branding within them. Just because it's easy to keep them as like cuts and transitions towards whatever the next scene is going to be ultimately for me. I don't really like the jumpy, flashy stuff. I don't want to say I don't know how to do it, but it doesn't resonate with me. And if it does, there's like a reason of how we got there, right? Not just because it's flashy to be flashy. Now Reebok, let's talk about Reebok as an apparel brand. I don't see too much stuff still in Canada. And the things that I have seen, it's like there's been such a trickle down effect of like how like their inventory was sold off. So like if you think Reebok as a head office that was connected to Adidas in Vaughan, they have distribution centers in certain areas in Canada that would ship their online orders, and also they would ship to fulfill those orders to for the actual outlets. So this is supply chain. Once they actually closed off all of the stores and like sold off the rights, at least Canadian rights, a lot of this inventory they kind of went to the airport. You usually see it. I think it's like the Toronto International Convention Center. They usually have big Reebok sales. You'll see people trying to promote them, and like I've been to those back when it was like 2012, 2013, early times. But like that was before legit when you could like walk in, and I don't know, I have it in the box. I don't know where. Well, I know it's not this colorway, but they're day glows. But I remember getting like two, three pairs of day glows that were just literally like $30 each. That was great. And like that was still when Reebok was making this model of sneaker. Still, they no longer are making the ventilator. But now between that, I've seen stuff go to Winners, Walmart, Sport Check, uh, JD, a couple of like the places you have probably seen in past amongst like the past like 10 years or something. but is it are there things that I would still wear that yeah I find stylish? A lot of the things, to be honest, no, not really. Because it's if it's just the regular Vector logo or if it just says Reebok Classic, there's too much simplicity behind just that. So I would be looking at collaborations. Um, I did like their recent collabs, like with the Kodak one, a couple of their music artists collabs. I just price point then is when you start to lose me because I am gonna like base it off of like how's the quality of the material. Is this an actual collab in terms of notoriety that conversationally is is even there for me? If it's not, and it's really not a style that like oh color just banging or like yo, look and appeal, banging. Like, if it's none of those things, then yeah, I'm not gonna just shell out to shell out because it's not that's not the name of the game in terms of my collection. Like my collection, I wear everything. I don't sell anything. I'm more likely to give stuff away just because I have access to getting things fairly easily. Um, but yeah, I don't really see them as being the most popular clothing brand or like apparel or lifestyle brand right now. And I'm sure that that could change, but I think like this new Carol G brand ambassador that they have, I don't know too much about her. I've seen like the modeling side of things that she does, which is like super dope. And I've seen a couple of like the silhouettes that I feel she's been trying to like announce that's more up her alleyway. Aesthetically, like I don't have any workouts or like that type of shoe yet. Still knock on wood, I need a pair of workout lows. Um, yeah, that's just I'm very interested to see kind of more progressively what Angel Reese is going to be doing colorways, on the colorways and style side of things. Even though she is a female, I'm hoping that she will do some unisex and or other men's style of stuff, just to see what it is that she's capable of design. Give give people the benefit of the doubt in this regard. What would I like to see more from Reebok this year? What I definitely miss and would love to see more of from Reebok is like I came from a time period where like you actually still could go to live installations and events where not just the branding is there, but like you felt like it was a thing, a vibe, just a whole experience. And like there's people there, there's media, there's refreshments to say the least, and like conversationally, there's a lot more opportunity to win excuse me to win people over in that regard. I haven't seen anything in Canada since pretty much the like they closed all their stores, and I don't feel that that's not for lack of trying. I just don't know if they know like where to just go all in. I would definitely recommend checking into local communities. Like I'm at the Christie Pitts basketball courts, and I know a bunch of different basketball courts within the vicinity in which even if collectively they were to pull up to one of these courts, in theory or hypothetically, just to document and kind of like do a meet and greet and maybe a raffle, a couple of like things, a barbecue, even like you would have people engagement there, and then you would also have people with a willingness and an attention span to listen. So uh, I'm knocking on wood, like me doing more of like my documentarian type of stuff in the way that I enjoy to see it and film it. That they may be more inspired to want to not just reach out to people like me or myself, overall just start going more grassroots. Like you can try to film something grassroots, but if you are not actually just being grassroots, living grassroots, and a lot of times it's like, yeah, not knowing when the next paycheck is gonna come, or like not knowing if like that reach out to maybe get into the basketball tournament is gonna even be answered, even if you have like, all of the prerequisite play and skills on the court. Maybe, your finances ain't there, or maybe like you have some legal issues going on, like, or some schooling isn't right, right? Like, I find those are the type of like emotionally resonating stories. That's another key phrase that I like to say. To gravitate towards people, and I love to see more of it from Reebok and other brands in general, right? It is very interesting because going or keeping with Angel Reese, I'm super happy that she's actually playing for the Atlanta Dream. She had still still having like a up and down start to the season, but overall she just seems very much determined. And I'm glad to see it because she's gotten a lot of slack for not just off the court antics, but it's always on the court stuff that if it's not backed up, you can really get yourself behind the eight ball, right? In terms of like overall the fan vote even. So it's good to see. Like I think she got, like put a Atlanta Dream record recently of the most double doubles. But even for herself, I think the picture that I saw of her after that game, which was like a pretty hard fought game, she didn't do the best against Aja Wilson, which is totally fine, right? Chalk it up for this next game. It seemed like based off of her hair, her lack of makeup, and just the craziness of the stray hairs flying around, like she earned that one. It was great to see. Like bravo, bravo, bravo. From like one Reebok brethren into another sister. Yo, that's what's up. And style wise, again, going back to some of the colorways that I'm hoping we'll see, not just with her, but like with Matis Bucelis with the Chicago Bulls. I just want to see like things that make you say and do a double take and be like, what is that? Like, wow, I haven't seen that before. Even if you have seen it, you haven't seen it by Reebok, which is great. Like, I want to see more happy faces around like the conversation around Reebok instead of just simply it being if you wear a super super vintage throwback. Oh yo, that's what's up. I remember those back in the day. Like, what are they doing today? That's kind of like where we need to shift our minds. Or what are they doing tomorrow? Right? Engine A26s. I have reached out to Reebok Global and Reebok Canada to see if I could do some product of photojournalism for that shoe specifically, because that's another shoe I have not seen it in person, but if it's anything similarly to the original Engine A, it just seems like it's a little bit more low profile. It's lighter weight and a little bit softer cushion. I could be wrong at all of this, but if I was able to get my hands on a pair like that, doesn't matter what colorway, I do some dope stuff and then also do like performance review things. I have in the last also 2 months played, I want to say 3 or 4 times 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 at the Christie Pits. And it's been super fun to just been able to get out there again, like knock on wood, 9, 15 months alcohol free and just feeling like present in this. Like even just going up and down to get a sweat and try to like make plays happen. I'm not like the best player or anything, but it's been super humbling, like either making a team or getting picked up by a team and making passes, making defensive stops where you can, uh, trying to like uplift your team and do all that fun shit. Uh, yeah, I can say I missed it to say the least. And I missed a lot of things in my real dark times of just being really focused on my addiction. I think that's when you only have that to, I guess, rely upon or just put all your effort into, you lose so much time and so much creative energy to divert to all of your hobbies. And if you're like someone like myself who has a lot of hobbies, that's where you just the downward spiral. I also want to shout out someone who like maybe a month ago and some of the other lives that I was doing at the Fort York Library and studio. But it's like I won't say his name, but it's a cousin of one of my close friends from high school time. Shout out Northview Heights. Yeah, but he reached out to me yesterday and just had a pretty open. transparent and candid conversation about his sobriety, and it was super humbling to hear. Lovely Miller, yo, appreciate you. Lovely Miller, appreciate you. But yeah, so he reached out yesterday and like he was telling me on top of just catching up on my photojournalism, but was bringing up my sobriety. And in almost 20 months, like I shit you not, I've had equal, if not more, people diss me, make fun of me, try to belittle me, whatever, about since the fact that I've now announced and I'm a publicly making sobriety a thing in my life. And it's like so it's very interesting to say the least. It's trivial sometimes, but yeah, I just leave that between those people and I really focus on myself, the controllables, and those who that type of work is meaningful. So people they seemingly find me or I find them. And yeah, he just messaged me yesterday talking about yeah, in the past like I'd say 6 months to a year had been like having a lot of health scares that were coming up predominantly because of substance abuse. And you never really think it's going to catch up to you until you're either faced with it and you have to deal with it or you're dead. So it's in like not one or the other. And I'm just super proud that he felt like comfortable enough to talk with someone like me because albeit I'm not blood family, but I'm still human family on this earth, right? And so some of the experiences that he's heard me articulate about my sobriety or like my coming out of it, into it, I should say. I guess just thankfully resonated with him. So happy that he's making some better decisions for himself. And yeah, soon, hopefully, we can connect soon. Like, not just talk about like photography things, but overall positive mental health for men and women. Like, I think it's like super, super important. I'm actually going to maybe start taking polls and asking people what would they think if I was to either make Zoom, WhatsApp, some kind of either online or in-person forum where it's like either once a week or twice a month, like bi-weekly or some shit like that. But like we can all link up and whether it's like an hour, 2 hour long conversation talking about mental health issues and like of course we want to keep it positively inclined, but like I don't want us to shy away from feeling we can't talk about the things that maybe are driving us up the wall or like making us psychologically want to pour down that bottle or something like that because those emotions still exist and they're never going to go away, right? So it's like how do we normalize the positive form of conflict resolution? I find a lot of it is talking about it. Not just talking about it, but coming to a positive resolve. Like, am I just bringing this up to bring it up or not? Do I actually want to learn something that I might not have known about this or about myself or about the trauma or about the trigger? I think that that would be something I would like before when I didn't have this type of platform to be able to do it myself. I was relying heavily on like the sober communities and the sober apps that I was a part of. And through God's grace, thankfully, that were there for me at the time because it gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of motivation. It kept me honest, I found. Um, and it gave me enough of the tools to acquire from early on in sobriety so that by the time I got to yeah like my first I want to say 10 months before because yeah it was before first year but around 10 months sober is when I started to want to do more activism behind like what are we doing when we're just meeting up in these groups like are we just meeting to just like just complain or just be a victim because like I don't want to do that. I don't think that that's the healthy form of like creating getting out of it, right? Getting out of what you find is either addiction or that matrix or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna yeah, just through my travels, just be more open and insightful with conversation. I feel we are all our hardest, biggest critic, and so there's just times where as open as you think I could be sitting there right with somebody, or like we go right now, even with Big Brother, Big Sister. Like I I had a meeting with them last week, and I wish, I'll just say this. I wish that I was open to just not being shy, not hesitating, and then just pulling on my camera and saying, "Look at what I do." Because like we were talking a lot of really great points, and like I had my phone, he had his phone, but I didn't show enough of like what it is that I do, the storytelling, the things that artwork and aesthetically are like. I'm slowly surrounding myself with, right? Because it's have to make yourself proud, proud of the good, positive things that you do, right? So that's like what I'm very much looking forward to. On top of just overall having like a really great spring and summer, we actually finally are getting the warm weather come in now, so it's like super dope. Paddleboard season is pretty much in full effect from now. I've been seeing people get on their boards and like do their stuff, so that's been super great. You will probably see me out there sooner than later. I just have to get it all time wise, and yeah, now that I have the cameras, it's like I really wish that I have like an extra set of hands at all times, because I just need that person to either be me or be not me when I'm doing the camera stuff, right? If I can get like a little bit of help, hey, by all means, you will probably have me interview you at some point, and you'll just get a lot of behind the scenes stuff. This week also, shout out another homie from the name of Tristan Dunn. He actually reached out to me today earlier, and he was saying that he had something basketball tournament wise. I believe it's big no Bay Hoops on Bay Street Hoops, Bay Street Hoops. Yes. So they have a tournament that's going on starting Thursday into this weekend. It is for something for charity, I believe. I got to do more of my research on it because he just gave me the preliminaries. Once I get the research done with the Big Brothers Big Sisters, I can jump towards that, and I will probably do a couple more lives this week. I'm gonna try to get back into the consistency of the lives, just because it is just fun to kind of just shoot the shit, have comments come and go, and can be up and down, free flowing as I like to have it, and like really improv as best as possible. I am looking forward to really try to coordinate it. It's really based off schedule though, but if I can get an interview with either Cisco and or JT and or Andre Ofsa McPherson, those will be some of the main guys that I'm looking to interview this week. But based off of their schedule, we still have a lot more things that we're trying to plan behind the scenes and off camera, off record stuff to kind of bring it to bigger production values. So that's gonna be pretty much it for me now today. I'm gonna get back into doing my kind of media stuff, prepare myself for the week. We will be doing more brainstorming for the whole Reebok. Is it popular in 2026? We're gonna actually find out because like we're in 2026, and outside of the things that we have not seen happen in Canada, I'm talking, yeah, is Reebok Classic popular in Canada in 2026? Maybe that's the better question to ask. Also, Shadow Brainchild, literally Brainchild, another collaboration that they had done with Reebok Classic, like on their DMX model. Super dope colorways. Reaching out to them, reaching out to Bodie from One Wheel and Landed Footwear. I'm trying to reach out to a lot of different footwear companies to see if they can send me a pair of their sneakers or their newest releases so I can do some product photography. I would love to do it. I love sneaker culture. I love sneaker everything. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed what you see, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Press the bell for notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and just continue to support. And I appreciate you guys so much. It is a motivational Monday to say the least. We will keep keeping on. Remember, another day safe, another day sober. And yeah, that's it for me. All right, we out. Peace, yo.